Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon. Eric, Jim, this is Live with Main Street. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, Anna. How are you?
Good. We are spread out across the globe. Do you guys know that? Not just East Coast time zones, but all the way in Italy. Jim, how's Italy?
Well, it's fine. And so just so you can remember where I'm at, can you see my hat?
Yes?
What's on my hat? Fiat. Yes. So I'm in Italy, northern Italy right now at the moment.
I don't see any Fiats, though, but anyway.
No, I'm on the patio of the hotel where I'm at.
Oh, okay. Well, good. So with the technology today, we can do this anywhere. So we are here today at Main Street Financial Planning, spread out across the world, but we want to talk to you about spring cleaning. So I hope that almost all of you, if not everybody, finished filing their tax returns. I actually had to file for tax for extension, couldn't get it done, but hope that I could work on it pretty soon. Now that that's out of the way, right, because that seems to be a lot of stress for most of us in the month of March and April, what we want to talk about today is spring cleaning, right? So when we mention spring cleaning, what comes to mind, right? Well, the first thing comes to mind is, okay, oh my gosh, I got to empty my closets, right? We got to pull out the spring clothes, and so what is going on there, and what can I get rid of that I no longer need? But we as financial planners actually thinking about the financial spring cleaning, right? Things like, how's your filing system? Do you even have one? With everything being online these days, you're getting your statements online. You may not have a filing cabinet anymore. Maybe you don't need one. So how about your records, right? I know you had to get ready for the tax return and pull a lot of data. Maybe this is a good time to see what else is going on. How about changing your passwords, right? Remember, we have 1 million of them these days. Where do you store them? So that's what we're talking about spring cleaning. Now, one of the things that is interesting, and it comes up a lot, because when we do spending plans for our clients and we look through their spending data, many of you have those storage units, right? Not only you have lots of stuff in your homes, but how about those storage units that you pay on a monthly basis? So is there something you could do with those? And is there stuff that you no longer need? So do we have, Eric and Jim, do we have any suggestions to our listeners about do we have to get rid of the storage units? Maybe we keep them. How do we organize them? And what are some financial to-dos that we can recommend?
Sure. So with storage units, when I was active duty, I saw a lot of people that would get a storage unit before we deployed, and then they would come back 6 months later and not think about it because it just become habit to pay that bill. So they would have the storage unit for 2-3 years or longer, and all that money they were spending for the unit, they could have been investing, or they could have been saving or spending on something frankly more enjoyable. So what I would encourage people to do is, if you have a storage unit, visit it, see what's in it. Business owners, maybe you have records that can be digitized. Maybe you have old financials that now that technology is caught up, you can scan them and you don't have to keep all those paper records anymore. If you have stuff that when you moved out of the house and went to college, or you got married, you have some things in there that maybe it was IKEA furniture you bought 10 years ago and you just have no interest in. So you could possibly sell some of that or donate it to charity and get some money back that way. At the end of the day, you don't necessarily have to get rid of the storage unit, but see if you have the right size storage unit. And even if you can save yourself $20, $30 a month, that works out to be a good chunk of change when you take into account years and years of how long you have the unit.
Something just came to mind, Eric. Some people have garages, right, that is full of stuff as well. That acts like a storage unit.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Well, cool. Well, I want to make some comments about actually online privacy and storage, right? Virtual storage, if you will. So think about this. From the very first thing in the morning, you wake up and you probably have a phone by your bed. So it's just, we're plugged in 24/7, right? And if we're talking about privacy, I think it's probably doesn't exist anymore. So we live out there and we're exposing ourselves. We like to connect. So how do we stay protected, right? Because nobody is immune. And so there are instances out there where your financial information can be exposed. So I know that most of us really never had to learn how to protect all of that, and there's lots of different ways to do it. But what I want to talk about first is actually understanding where do you have the most exposure. So obviously the financial side, things like social security numbers, credit card numbers, debit cards. I mean, just last year, I think twice I had to get a new, one time I had to get a new debit card because it was compromised, and then a new credit card. So those kinds of things. How about fake tax returns, right? When you get a very strange call from someone saying that perhaps you owe, your tax return was complete when you didn't even start it. And then I also want to focus on personal data, right? We all have Facebooks, Twitters, and social media accounts. And so how do you manage all of that? Passwords. Where do you keep your passwords? Do you have a little black book that you write everything in and just carry with you? Or is it a password manager that you use, an online program that stores all your passwords? How do you share that information with your loved ones in case you can't get to those? So those are some of the questions that I want you to kind of think about when you're thinking about privacy, right? Because it's becoming very difficult. So where are you keeping all of this stuff? And is this something that you have to attend to? So one of the things we do here at MainStreet is every 6 months, we update all of our passwords because we are a virtual company. We operate all over the world, so we've got to stay on the top of these things. So perhaps one of the action items for you after this show is to take a look and see when was the last time you updated your passwords. Now, Jim, I know you are working remotely for the next 6 months, but 3 months, geez. But tell us about what are some of the practices you put in place, right? Not just only working remotely, but also taking some time off and being across the globe. That has to do with financial records, privacy, just overall spring cleaning topic.
Well, that's a great question, Anna. And getting ready for a long spring overseas vacation really takes some planning ahead of time. And what I'll try to do is put my checklist in the comments section after our program is uploaded. But here are some of the things that I did and thought about, and I think everybody could do, whether they go overseas or just maybe out of the area where they normally live. First of all, make a plan to take care of your pets and plants. That's important because plants, especially in spring and summer heat, can wilt very quickly if you don't have sort of a watering schedule, or you paid somebody or asked a neighbor to take care of them. The moving of bills to automatic payment online through your bank or through your credit card system, or maybe even moving payments to a credit card and then having that credit card paid automatically from your bank account, are really good practices. Yes, you have to go look at your bill and make sure that all of the purchases are appropriate, but at least the payment won't be missed. You won't be paying those $35 late fees, and you won't have to be worried on your vacation that your financial house is falling down on. Plan your communications. Texting, email, phone, Skype in foreign countries is a little bit different. We found out today with Live with MainStreet that starting a live show from Italy may not be as easy as it was from the States. So we have to plan ahead for those communications. The electricity in many foreign countries is not the American tube plug that we're so used to. So make sure you have enough electric adapters. I brought 4 with me on this trip for Carol and I, and we're still sharing those adapters. So maybe I even needed more than 4, but you've got all these battery operated laptops and phones and iPads and things like that all have to be recharged. Even more important, though, is updating your estate plan. It's really interesting that estate planning attorneys tell me over the years that before a major trip and before the end of the year are the two rush jobs for estate planners. So update your estate plan and notify your alternate executor if your spouse, who is your executor, is traveling with you. Give your alternate executor access to your financial information, including your master password. I use a password manager. And luckily, we have a son who is very financially astute. He's a CPA, and so he's got the master password so he can access all our digital things if necessary. We did notify our bank and our 2 credit card companies that we were traveling so we don't get rejected transactions. That's really important. I also turned on my email message right before I left so all of my business contacts would know that I'm on vacation, and so I won't be replying immediately to their emails. We also turned on our home security system. We let our neighbors know our contact information and dates. And I packed extra glasses, both my regular glasses and my sunglasses, because they can break when you're in some foreign place and it's very difficult to get replacements. I also packed extra earbuds, battery sticks for the cell phones, another power cord, and I arrived with some foreign money in my pocket because these days at the airports, they have ATM machines that charge a very high fee. If you go to a local bank, once you're in some town, then you pay a normal fee, but you're not going to pay an exorbitant fee. Airports have found that ATMs can be a nice profit center. Look at tripadvisor.com for suggestions and warnings from various countries. That's a really good pay it forward kind of sharing site. Make a copy of your passport, your driver's license, and both sides of your credit cards, and either keep them on your phone or on some electronic platform that you can access them and print them out at a hotel or someplace else if you happen to lose it. They will not accept your passport copy, though, so just be aware of that. But you can walk into the U.S. Embassy or consulate someplace and get one usually in a day. Make arrangements with your cell company's international plan, or you could buy, like I did, an international SIM card with an unlocked phone. And lastly, give your family your itinerary so they're calm and they know how to get a hold of you day by day. I'm sorry that's a long list to add, but there you go.
No, that's good. That's definitely a great list. Thank you, Jim. You know, what I was thinking actually too for my travels in the past is one of the things that we've done is to make sure that if you're connecting to a Wi-Fi at the hotel or at the McDonald's or Starbucks or some other cafe, wherever you're on the road, make sure that you're using one of those virtual private networks. That's extremely important. And I actually had run into trouble when I didn't turn on that. It's just a program that you can sign up for. It doesn't cost a lot of money, but I did have to come back and have my computer be cleaned up after a trip. Actually, it was last trip to Italy. So I swear by those. So don't forget virtual private networks. It's for your own protection because you never know who's accessing the same Wi-Fi signal you are, especially when you're abroad. So those are
I just checked mine, Anna. I just checked mine, Anna. It's working. Just to
I'll make sure
know.
yours is on. Yes, Jim. We do not need any.
It is.
Yeah, we don't need any extra visitors on our live stream today. So, well, great. If you or listeners have any other suggestions for us, please share, because it's always good to know what best practices are out there. But we, again, take this month to really look at your primarily your financial life and see what needs to be cleaned, what needs to be organized. And we have a couple of shows coming out later this month, so stay tuned. There's more interesting information that's coming out your way. We'll see you in May. Jim, have a good time in Italy. Eric and Anna are off to work. By the way, happy holidays, happy Easter for those of you who celebrate it this weekend. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye, everybody.